This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is sponsored by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup at Delco Meets, the number 4 business, and attend one of our incredible networking events. Be sure to register, and we'll see you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Steve Reynolds of Delco Steaks. Steve, welcome to the podcast.
Rich, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to this. Talk about Delco Steaks and, of course, the best county in the world, Delco.
Steve, we ask a question on the podcast. Where do you get your cheesesteaks when you have a cheesesteak craving? By far, Delco Steaks comes up as the most noticed, the most recognized, the most eaten at cheesesteak place for Delco. How did Delco Steaks get started?
I love to hear that, Rich. We'd love to hear that feedback and how people enjoy Delco Steaks. But we started back, it's a crazy story, back during the pandemic, the day of the stay-at-home order in Pennsylvania in 2020, March of 2020, we opened our first store, opened our pickup window, we'll call it, and it just took off. My brother and his partner came to me, said they're doing a cheesesteak thing. They want me to be a part of it. And here we are, 2025 now, multiple locations and looking to continue to grow.
How was the decision made to open up a cheesesteak place?
Yeah, so my brother and his partner were opening up a bar in Broomall, Marple Township. It's the first bar ever since Prohibition. It was a dry town and got voted on to be to have liquor sales. So they opened up this bar, but right behind it, there wasn't much parking, and it led to this building. And they knocked on the door one day, and it was the old Jeans Luncheonette. A lot of people remember that. Right on Westchester Pike in Broomall, and these two young kids took it over, and they were looking to get out of it. So it just kind of stumbled upon my brother and his partner, John, and they were like, well, what can we do with this building? You know, it offers parking to our bar, but we might as well use the building for something. So it's like, hey, let's do a cheesesteak shop. And that's where I roll into. And now we've grown into a popular brand.
You roll into the public house, but where does that fit for the cheesesteak world for you? Is that your experience?
Yeah, so I was in the food industry, good majority of my life, and then I got out, was in insurance, and then right before the pandemic, I got out of that and had an opportunity to do something, and it just kind of just stumbled upon me, and it's a passion of mine. I love food. I love managing people, managing different personalities, just being a part of something that has an impact on the community. And again, here I am. Not only do we sell cheesesteaks, but we are really big in our communities. Marple, Newtown, the Ridley community, and now fortunate enough to be a part of the Springfield community.
You talk about building a cheesesteak. You talk about building a brand. How did it go about? I mean, I'm always fascinated. How do you sit down and say the bread, the cheese, the meat? How did that all get just built out to becoming what Delco Steaks is today?
It's a great question, Rich. I love talking about that because you got to do a lot of research when doing that. And, researching cheesesteaks, it could be a lot on your health, having to go around and you got to eat different cheesesteaks. And, one place you might like the bread, other place you might like the steak meat, you might like the cheese at another place. So right when we opened, we kind of, figured out the right bread, Karanji Bakery down in South Philly. Nice crisp on the outside, but soft on the inside, not terrible to, bite into. And we like to say we were one of the first. Now you talk about Cooper Sharp American. It used to be Whiz with the cheesesteak. And we call that the original cheesesteak. We kind of feel like we were one of the starters of the new school cheesesteak in Philadelphia. And that's the seated roll with the Cooper Sharp and the ribeye. And go to your Pats and Geno's, you get your soft, whether it's a Versa or Amoroso roll with the cheese whiz. But now, you go all over. It's now the Cooper Sharp with the seeded roll and the ribeye. And we were one of the first. I won't say we were the first because I don't know that research, but we were one of the first. And since then, so many other stores have popped up with that same model of that seeded roll, Cooper Sharp and ribeye. So we take pride in that. And we just continue to put out a great product, great consistency. That's our biggest thing. When you continue to grow, you want that same consistency, same quality. You don't want that to waver at all. So, that's how we stumbled across, what our cheesesteak is today.
You built the cheesesteak. You need to come up with a name. How did the name come into play? You had the building, the parking lot, you had all that stuff going on. How did the name work out?
Yeah, so my brother and John, his partner, they were kind of going back and forth. They were thinking about different names, like, naming it after somebody. And then they're like, the whole thing was brand. And they knew this guy, this branding guy, and he helped along with it. And, what can we, their goal was always to multiply this, to create this, to blow it up. And it's all about branding. And they're like, well, what better name than Delco Steaks? It's not only a name that, us Delconians carry proud on our sleeve, but it's a name that's well known throughout the region, Delaware County. So kind of that's how we did it. And, that name definitely helps with our success.
It's been 5 years now. What are some of those aha moments you've had where that brand and you've seen that success, or you've seen those moments where you've just kind of taken a pause and say, wow, we did this?
To tell you, your opening statement when you said, when you ask people what cheesesteaks they like, and Delco Steaks come to mind. And it's kind of when you're in the mix of it, in the middle of it, and you're doing it, the daily grind, and not every day's glorious. Trust me, most days are tough, putting out fires. But hearing from people about the Delco brand, you guys have built an empire, and we're far from that, but that's our goal. But just to hear the outsiders saying, Delco Steaks is this, Delco Steaks is that. It's great to hear that. And, they love our cheesesteaks. They love the name. They're proud of the name. They're proud that they're from Delaware County because Delco Steaks is from there. So just stepping back sometimes, listening to a review, looking at reviews, it makes the everyday grind worth it.
Not only are you making great steaks, great food, you're also doing miniature golf. What was the impetus of that?
Yeah, so we had Delco Steaks Broomall for about a year and a half, and then someone approached us about the old Charlie's Hamburgers, the iconic Charlie's Hamburgers in Folsom, Ridley Township. And that building was sitting for a while. And I know some people, I think a storage unit tried to go in there and the township turned it down. So we were just sitting there for a while. And we reached out. The owners of the Frontier Saloon right next door own that property as well. And we reached out and they're like, well, we're taking serious inquiries only, because a lot of people are reaching out. They just wanted to look. And so we went, we looked, and it was a beautiful building. And in the back was a miniature golf. And we're like, well, where'd this come? We never knew anything about it. And it had all the holes, the concrete, everything. It just was dilapidated and needed some, revival. So we went out there. We took over the lease. We put up our signs, and then one of the first things we did before we did the inside was revive that whole outside. The cool thing about Delco Land is each hole represents a town in Delco, and we had a Philadelphia artist, Hawk Crawl, design each hole. So we have, I think the first hole is Folsom, and there's a depiction of the first Wawa ever, and it was in Folsom. We have the Tower Theater. Just each media, each town you can think of is represented in each hole. We have a mural painted on the back wall. We call it the Delco's Capital, or the 18-hole tour of Delaware County. And then along the fence area, we have local school art departments. Each like different high schools throughout Delaware County painted mural on plywood um, about their school, their town, and we were able to put it up. We did a donation to each art department, and it's just cool. It just embodies Delaware County, and we want to do more with it. We have a lot of birthday parties, corporate events, but we want to eventually add some more different kinds of structures to it, like you see at other mini golf courses. But it's definitely very unique and a cool thing we like to, add part of our brand.
You've mentioned this several times, Steve. It's about giving back. It's about being part of the community. And I think many businesses want to be that place where there's this, we give back to the community, but they struggle with it. Maybe it's for the wrong reasons, but it seems to be such a philosophy for Delco Steaks.
It is. I mean, I have a background of nonprofit. I've worked in nonprofit for Muscular Dystrophy Association. I worked, did events for Alex's Lemonade Stand. So I'm real into that. So I brought that to Delco Steaks, giving back, whether we can do giveaways to everyday customers or to donating to causes, sponsoring sports teams, whatever way we can do to give back, because these same people are coming and spending their own money. But we really believe in that, and it's been great. And that's one thing. People talk about our cheesesteaks, but another thing is like, yeah, Delco Steaks. If you're doing a fundraiser or anything, someone will say, yeah, go to Delco Steaks, they'll sponsor you. So it's kind of something we want to continue to do as we continue to grow and come into these local communities.
I'm excited for our new sponsor of the What's Happening Delco podcast, Delco Steaks. Thank you for that.
Yeah, you got it.
You talk about expanding Delco land. You talk about expanding that experience for people. What are the expansion plans for Delco Steaks?
Yeah, so we have a new majority owner coming in on board, Tom Shivers. He's a Delco guy from Eddystone. Has a successful medical workers comp business out in Westchester. But he got into the food game last year. He opened up a cheesesteak spot called Fast Break Cheesesteaks in on Baltimore Pike, the old Slacks in Springfield, and didn't really take off for him. So he saw the opportunity of Delco Steaks and came on board. As I said, the majority owner now, and we're now turning that into a Delco Steaks. So that'll be our third location. We started in Broomall, went to Ridley. Now we're going to be in Springfield, opening sometime, I would say July 2025. And then from there, we have our eyes set on Media and Sea Isle City, the next two. And again, we want to grow, but we don't want to get too big for ourselves. We got to make sure we have the staff, got to make sure I can handle it. But it's all calculated risk, I like to call it. And we've taken risks before. We've opened up, we were in the Wells Fargo Center at one point, worked out great for a year. And then we got out. It wasn't, really fitting our model. We've done some ghost kitchen things. We were at a brewery. We were at a music hall. But again, things that didn't work out. We were in a shop right at one point. Just, again, taking different risks, seeing what would stick to the wall. But we see that our model is a brick and mortar. We have to have that location where people can see, they can come in, they can eat. So we've taken risks. We've failed. That's the only way we know how we can succeed. But yeah, Media, Seattle City are on our radar for the end of 2025. Now, Seattle City, again, that would be for next summer. But yeah, we want to continue to open, a couple stores a year. We just added a food truck. So we have a cheesesteak trolley. It's our one food truck. We converted a trolley into a kitchen. And then we just added another actual food truck. So we have two mobile units as well.
The philosophy of not being able to the failure idea, not fearing failure, not being set in your ways to say, you know what, we made this commitment, we're just going to plowing ahead and plowing ahead. Where does that mindset come from?
Yeah, so that's a mindset. My brother, his partner John, they felt that way. Tom now feels that way. I feel so. It helps when everyone shares that same vision. Um, those guys are really like, let's keep open. And I'm here, and they always come to me first because I'm the everyday operations, and I'll say, yeah, great idea, not a good idea. But I share that same philosophy as we won't know unless we try. So, um, and we can't be afraid of failure. Listen, not everyone's going to like our cheesesteak. Everyone has their own palate, but what we're out to do is put out the best quality, most consistent, family-friendly customer service. And if you look at it, not many cheesesteak spots have expanded or done it successfully. I know Tony Luke's have tried it. They're in some different places, but we're trying to be one of the first that can do it and do it successfully.
Steve, who motivates you? Who inspires you?
Yeah, so my children, my wife, every day I wake up and I look at my kids. I just had a newborn, May 31st, and I look at them and it's like, I want to do it for them. And it's people in the community. It's Delaware County. It's like having that name, Delco Steaks. It's so cool for us. And it's crazy that name's never really been used before. I mean, there's people use it, but just having the backing of the community. I mean, family, you name it. I mean, there's just so many different factors that motivate me. But and it's cliche, but it's the naysayers too. A lot of people say, yeah, this place, I heard something years ago. Yeah, this place won't last a couple years. And stuff like that just, motivates me to keep on going.
It's funny how those naysayers always have a way of staying in your ear. And it's like that Tom Brady thing, right?
Yeah.
Even today, he's still talking about them and he's still going to continue to prove them wrong. It's those naysayers, man. That's something about it that's that motivation for us to get out there and do it. But at the end of the day, it's really the smiles on the faces of those customers. It's the new ones that come along. It becomes the family tradition. All those things that Delco Steaks is really bringing to our Delco community. So I have to ask you, because I usually ask my guests, if you have a cheesesteak craving, where do you go? We already know you're going to Delco Steaks, but how do you like your cheesesteak?
Yeah, so exactly how you said it earlier. It's a seeded roll, Cooper Sharp, and that ribeye. And then we don't, we offer seedless rolls, we offer chopsticks, but we're in the middle of a slab and a chop. We're like we pull our meat apart, so you're still getting a nice bite of that ribeye, so it's not too choppy. Yeah, I love that, and then I love the fried onion. You gotta go with fried onions. But it's pretty standard cheesesteak. How about you, Rich? What's your favorite?
You know, I know everybody likes that. I go to a provolone. I don't know why. I like provolone on my cheesesteak. I like onions, peppers, mushrooms. I like the whole thing to be like a buffet. That's why I
Yeah.
like it. And sauce too. And I know some people poo poo that. So that's just my thing.
Hey, I've seen it all having this cheesesteak spot for 5 years. All the different types of condiments, you name it. That is a sleeper. Provolone. I mean, Cooper Sharp is now like it's how creamy it is and all that, but I love a good provolone on my cheesesteak as well. That's a good call by you.
I will say two things: no lettuce. I think that's blasphemy, and no mayonnaise. Those that do it, good on you, but that doesn't belong on a cheesesteak in any world that I believe that I belong
Yeah,
to.
I gotta agree with you, and I'm also ketchup. I think ketchup kind of ruins it. Now I've seen the mayo. I've tried the mayo. I knocked it. I did try it, and it made it more of a creamier taste. But I just the thought of it, like I wouldn't do it on my own.
Well, I think I graduated from the ketchup, and that's why I like a nice little marinara sauce on there. I like the zestiness of it versus
Sure.
the sweetness of the ketchup. So maybe I still get those ketchup roots from being a kid, but I matured in my palate a little bit.
There you go.
You and your family have a pizza craving. Where are you stopping for pizza?
Pizza. So I have a favorite pizza spot. It's a mobile unit. It's called Pizzeria La Familia. If you haven't heard it, it's there are different breweries that are around. They're based out of Newtown Square, but it's a wood-fired pizza, and I stumbled across it, and I really enjoy it. But like your standard brick and mortar, man, it's tough to knock any pizza place. Italian Delight I grew up on, right in Broomall on Springfield Road. A nice reheated. Yeah, they have a variety of different slices. Get one of those slices reheated, you can't go wrong. But man, pizza's good.
You're out and about. You're checking out one of your new locations, and you have a convenience store need. Where are you stopping? Wawa or Royal Farms?
I got to go with Wawa. They just built a Royal Farms near me. I live in Broomall, um, and I'll stop in there. But if I'm up to the one or the other, it's definitely Wawa.
Steve, how do you describe Delco to someone who's never heard of Delco before or who's never been here?
Yeah, it's funny you ask that because I feel like I just did that not too long ago at a wedding in Brooklyn. It's a way of life. Someone came up to me that was from a different state and they were like, "What's this whole thing about Delco?" They didn't even know I owned this place called Delco Steaks, and I said, "It's you don't know it unless you come. It's like Philadelphia, but I feel it's more blue collar. It's more." Um, Again, I was saying towards the end, it's hard to describe what Delco is if you're not here. Again, it's just a way of life, and there's a reason why it's known. And I don't want to just say throughout the region; it's known throughout this country. I know people from different countries that have said, what's this whole thing about Delco? And you got to spend a little bit of time here to really know.
You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them to or take them to that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Well, not to sound biased, but I mean, you got to go to Delco Land, experience putt putt like we like to call it in Delco, and then an authentic cheesesteak. Now, if I'm not going to say Delco steaks, um, man, there's so many different places that you can go to. I mean, whether it's downtown media, or it's, I'll give a shout out to Charlie's Hamburgers down in Ridley. That the heart of Delco. Um, there's so many different places, and that's the greatest thing. Like we're Delco Steaks, we love our cheesesteaks, but we're not going to knock any other food establishment. I mean, all these are blue collar, hardworking individuals that I mean, you name all the different places. Cut Above in Newtown Square, I grew up on. You got Pagano's in Drexel Hill. I mean, there's so many different places that offer great sandwiches, and that's what we love about Delaware County. And and the thing people will see is we're still a mom and pop store. We're still family. I mean, half my family works for Delco Steaks. Even though we're growing, we're not corporate. One day we might be, but right now we're still a mom and pop, making an honest living. And we're just taking that chance, that risk of growing and multiplying locations and, seeing if it works.
Steve, is there anything we haven't spoken about on the podcast? Anything you want listeners to know more about you or Delco Steaks?
Biggest thing is, if you haven't had us or if you had a bad experience the first time you ever have, come back, please. We are so into making the experience of Delco Steaks a great one for you. If we ever mess up on anything, all I ever ask, and we put it on our receipts, send us an email. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to make it personally for you. Um, we're not perfect, but we strive to be. And all I'm just going to say is continue to follow our story. Follow us on Instagram at Delco Steaks. And we're going to keep on growing. We're going to keep on promoting Delaware County.
Steve, thanks so much for you, your family, your team, everyone at Delco Steaks for taking a chance, for showing up every day, making our lives better. And thanks for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. We look forward to seeing you out and about in the community. Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I've been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.